Facebook people. How you doing? Haven't seen you in about 30 minutes. I just got done doing an interview of a New York, New Jersey comedian, Jason Pollock. That was fun. He's unique. You got to check that out. It's on my timeline and over there on this YouTube as well. But now I get to do something I really enjoy. I know people have said to me, how come do you only have guys on? I'm like, no, that is not true. I'm not that way. Are you kidding me? I want women on, but I have just found that sometimes women don't respond. It's so, I don't know if you've heard of this little phenomenon, Jessica. Um, have you noticed that a guy speaks in commands and a woman is polite?
Honestly, I don't think that I have noticed that, but I'm gonna be looking for it now.
So I've gotten kind of wise to that because I think that was tripping me up when I first started doing these, that men were telling me what to do and women were asking me if they could be on. And so women didn't have the edge over the men. And I wasn't consciously doing it, but I'll be darned. Now, if a guy tries to boss me around and tell me what to do on my own YouTube, I was like, excuse me, back up.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So here's Jessica. We're talking already, and I haven't even read her intro. Let me put on my cheaters. These are called cheaters. And, there's a different kind of cheater, but we won't get into that. Okay, here's the intro. Jessica Denali, over there, is from Santa Cruz, California, so she's probably a surfer, at least a swimmer, and has been living in Vegas since 2021. She's known for shenanigans, and we're not talking Brian, such as wearing a banana suit in public. I got to hear about this. I am the biggest pranker. Let's compare notes. Okay. The first time she did comedy was in 2016. We got to hear about that. But then she took a break and seriously got back into comedy in 2023. So let's get to know her right now so you'll fall in love with her and you'll want to go watch her do comedy live and you'll want to follow her on social media so that when she's at Madison Square Garden, she'll actually want to have you open for her. So let's bring her on right now. Whether you're a comedian watching or you're somebody that goes to comedy shows and comes away shaking your head, now's your chance to get to see if you like her. So kick back and watch us in action. Welcome to the stage right now, Jessica Denali. Woo! Hi,
Oh,
Jessica.
hi. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. You're a Vegas comedian. I've met you in person. We're in a little group thingamajiggy on Facebook for women in Vegas. So, talk to me a little bit about anything in your life right now that is not comedy related. What's happening with Jessica off stage?
I'm actually currently in San Francisco. Um, but the reason I'm here is for a comedy related reason. So I'll talk about non-comedy things. So I'm in San Francisco, and in Vegas. I'm about to move in a couple of weeks, also in Vegas, but I'm excited about that. Um, let's see, other non-comedy things. Uh, um, yeah. I'm excited to be in San Francisco. We have really good Mexican food. I used to live here for like 10 years. I went to town on a burrito last night. It was really exciting.
Wow. So, I love comedy in San Francisco. It goes way back. I mean, that's the roots of comedy there. West Coast,
Yeah, exactly.
Holy City Zoo.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely a big comedy scene out here. I'm gonna be in a comedy competition tonight, and had a show a couple days ago, and I have a lot of friends that are here. So, when I first started doing like getting back into actually both when I first started in general and when I started getting back into comedy, it was in San Francisco. So, I have ties to the scene out here, so I come here a lot as well.
Very cool. Okay, so let's now that we're going to do that, I'm going to make a left turn and then
Yeah.
we're going to change gears with no segue. If
Okay.
you want to see a segue, watch Mall Cop. They have it. Okay, so right now what we're doing is we're going back in time. This is like Back to the Future on Zoom. We're going to get in a DeLorean with a deflux capacitor, whatever you call it. And we're going to go back to little Jessica. I
Okay.
want to be your best friend in first grade. I want to know who you were in first grade, second grade, in your house, growing up, little, middle school, high school. Paint us that picture. Who were you?
Well, okay, you just named three very different times. So
Yeah.
in first grade, well, what? Okay, so when and I remember this because I'm a crazy person and my memory, my first memory is when I was 2.5, apparently. Because a long time ago I was saying to my mom, "Oh, I remember this thing," and she was like, "That's impossible. You were 2.5." And I said, "Well, I remember it." So when I was super young, I was always quote unquote writing even if they were just scribbles. So in preschool, apparently, I would write like upwards of 50 books a day, which means I would scribble and draw on pieces of paper, staple them together, and then my teachers would put them in a plastic bag and I would haul them home. So that was a writing since I was, a larva basically. And then in first in first grade, which like when I think about this now, it super ties into the whole comedy thing. But first grade, I remember I would just always be telling stories to the class, and I would tell stories about my little brother. And they would like, instead of show or tell, I would tell them about my brother, and they would always be like, they're like Daniel stories, like it was a whole thing. And then that's funny because in middle and high school, I was actually super shy. Um, and not around my friends, but like I hated being called on in class. And I dreaded a presentation and all that. And actually, what made that go away is that when I graduated from high school, I decided I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish. So I worked and then I went to live in Guatemala by myself for 3 months. And I didn't, know the language that well, and I was on my own at 19 years old. So I had to figure out like how to like get myself around and speak the language, and that kind of makes you be less shy. So
That's
yeah, not
that's
shy anymore.
that's so cool. Okay, so then after Guatemala, about what age were you and what did you do after Guatemala?
So when I came back, I was 19, and then I went to school for journalism at San Francisco State University.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And did you do anything with the journalism in the journalism world?
Kinda. Well, these days there's not that much like traditional journalism anymore. I mean, there is some in some places if you want to work in like a real newspaper, but there's not much, as you know. But so I worked when I was in college, I was the manager on the school paper and all that. And then I worked at I had an internship and then I was a columnist at SF Weekly, but also when I was still in college. Since then, I've freelance written for a lot of freelance wrote. I've freelanced for a lot of different blogs and publications. So
Wow.
not so much traditional journalism, but definitely in terms of writing. I've done a lot of travel writing. I've written a lot about dating and relationships. And yeah, but in terms of traditional like newsroom journalism, I haven't really done that since 2014, but I don't know how much of that is around anymore anyway.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
who knows what's happening? I wouldn't be surprised if the AI is writing everything.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I still have some clients that want me to freelance write for them. So the robots haven't taken over yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I get it. So pretty soon we're going to see robots doing those captchas.
What captions?
You know how you're on the internet and you're trying to go somewhere on something, and it wants you to pick out which squares have the bicycles in them?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
One of these days
exactly.
you're going to see a meme of a robot doing the captcha.
You know what? It's funny you say that because there was something that I noticed the other day that I was thinking like, oh, I need to like, put this in a routine and talk about this, but I'm going to tell you what it is. I was applying for a job, and I was just had me answer like, where do you live, this and that. And then at the end, it was like, take our assessment. And I said, okay, great. The assessment was these like creepy AI pictures, and it had you click. It was like, uh, say yes or no to the following statements. And then it was like, on time, enthusiastic. And it was, I don't know, it was like these robots and these like robot phrases. And then based on what you said, this little chat feature popped up with another robot. And it was like, I'm Morris. Thanks for your assessment. I was like, this is creepy as hell.
That's so weird. Uh,
So weird.
oh my gosh. Well, okay, so you got back into comedy seriously in 2016. And in Vegas, how's it been going with comedy? I know you got San Francisco locked down like Robin Williams on crack, but what about Vegas? How's Vegas been? Which mics and shows do you like going and watching, and which ones do you like performing at? What would you like to tell people where to come to a good show that you'll be at, or where do you
Yeah,
frequent? Where, yeah, all that.
yeah. All that. I could do that. Basically, so I did comedy for the first time in 2016. I actually just did it at there was a mic at San Francisco State where I went to school. I did it a couple times, and then I went that was basically that was it. I went to some like storytelling competitions, which is different, of course. And then I kind of just, didn't do it again. Obviously, I was writing material for years and years and years. But I didn't really go to another mic until August 2023. And that was in San Francisco. And then I started checking out the scene in Vegas. And yeah, my whole one of my problems, and I talk about this on stage, is that I live in Henderson and I don't know how to drive a vehicle. So it's tricky for going to mics, but also life in general. So I am moving, not necessarily for that reason, but I am moving and I'll be closer to things. But I let's see. I go to I end up going to 702 karaoke a lot on Fridays. I like that one. I like Manic Monday at Huntridge Tavern. I'm about to live closer over there. I like Mistress K's mics, that Artifice, and she has one at Hammered Harry's on Thursday. So those are the ones I go to, and also, of course, Wise Guys, when I'm able to. And then coming up, I actually have several things. This coming Sunday, on the 4th at 7 p.m., I'm going to be in a show at Carl and Martin's in Henderson. It's Carl and Martin Sports Bar, 7 p.m. This Sunday in Henderson. So I'm gonna be there with a few other comedians, and we each have like a slightly longer set, and it's gonna be a good time. So the show is like I think 2.5 hours. So that should be a good one. And then at the same venue, we have another one on February 18th at 7 p.m. Also Carl and Martin's in Henderson. And then I'm also Lex Las Vegas has a show, of course, at Hanazakaya Lounge on February 14th, and I'm going to be in that one, which I'm excited about because I have had the worst history with Valentine's Day. I've had the worst things happen to me like consistently on the February 14th of every year. So it might be a bad luck omen to have me around on that day, but it'll definitely be interesting, and I have a lot of things to say. And,
Tell me something weird, hard, stupid, scary that happened on Valentine's Day for you.
Okay, yeah. So, well, I had two different breakups, 2 different years of Valentine's Day. I usually say that I got dumped on Valentine's Day twice. However, the first time I did the dumping, but it was because the first person picked a fight. Like, anyway, two different Valentine's Day breakups. On Valentine's Day in 2019, I got hit by a car leaving dinner and finished Valentine's Day in the emergency room. Valentine's Day last year, I found out that I had to have arm surgery. And then there was another Valentine's Day, which is the day that I realized that I had a stalker. So then and it's always on the 14th. And it's funny because it's like, and every year I'm kind of like, okay, what's gonna happen today? And then I get the call last year, you're gonna have arm surgery in 3 days, and I was like, of course I am. So,
Of
but the
course.
car, yeah, of course, it's Valentine's Day. The getting hit by the car that probably took the cake. Like I have a picture of me with the boot on, and it's like February 14th. I'm like, of course, this is this day. So that's that. And then it's a little bit down the line, but on February 21st, I'm going to be at Rick's Roll and Smoke. And if anyone, this is a long shot, but I go back and forth a lot. So February 17th, I'll actually be having a show at Neck of the Woods in San Francisco. So if anyone listening happens to be in San Francisco, 17th. So
Who puts
sounds
on
like a
that?
lot.
Who puts on that show? Is that Danny Dechi?
No, funny you say that. Okay, so tonight I'm actually going to be in a comedy competition at Neck of the Woods that's put on by Danny Dechi.
I love him.
But
I love him.
oh, I'll tell him you say hi. But the 17th that's put on by Hella Funny and Mark Neuer.
Danny Dechi puts on a show for us a couple times a month for seniors.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, I actually haven't met him in person yet, so I'll tell him you say hello.
Do say that. That'd be awesome. So tell people where to follow you. This is kind of a short interview. I'd love to have you back on anytime you have anything to plug, anything, any soapbox you want to get on, you want to straighten out people, just come on and talk. It doesn't have to be an interview.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you. I am on Instagram as Jessica Denali Comedy. Denali like the truck, Denali, or TikTok as Jess D Does Comedy.
Very cool. And you know where she's going to be performing now. You know her handles. So support her because we can't do anything without audience. And whether that's live or on the internet, we can't do it without you guys. We're so grateful for you loving us, loving our performances, helping our social media. It's very important to us. So please follow and love Jessica Denali. I've heard her in person. Tell people as we close out, Jessica, tell people what's your style of comedy?
So, yes, I do have to warn people that my comedy is a little bit R-rated. But
Just a little.
a little R-rated. But yeah, it's basically one of the reasons I got into comedy is that a lot of weird things happen to me and people, like hearing about it. So figured out how to say that in a way that works on the stage. So yeah, it's pretty dirty, but it's funny, and I think you'll like it.
Well, I've got a friend that's my favorite waitress over at Mardi Gras, and she loves that kind of comedy. And every once in a while, I do that kind of comedy, like if it's at a dive type bar, I can do it. And you're very comfortable just doing it, and my hat's off to you. But my favorite waitress is Cami. She'll probably see this video and want to befriend you because she's
Perfect.
thinking of getting out and doing comedy. And so there aren't a lot of, like she's going to look for somebody local to kind of buddy up with, probably. So don't be surprised.
I will not be surprised, and I love new friends, so that sounds good.
I'm trying to get her to go to Wise Guys tonight and get up on stage because she's got bar stories.
I hope she does do that.
Yes. Well, it's been lovely having you on. Thank you so much. Thanks for putting up with me canceling and then getting back
Oh,
to
you're
you. I
Thank
hate
you for
doing
having
that.
me on. I appreciate it. It was good talking to you.
It was great talking to you and all my best in the comedy competition that you're in San Francisco tonight, did you say?
Yeah, tonight. Thank you.
And it's stand up or is it storytelling?
I believe it's stand up. It is stand
Uh,
up. Yeah.
the two of them are kind of merging right now.
They are, yeah. There's definitely, they're similar. There's just differences, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good luck. And don't forget to
All right.
give Danny Detchy a wet, sloppy kiss.
I'll do my best.
Don't know why I said that. But have you seen him do his pencil routine?
Not yet.
Okay. You have to make sure he does it.
I will.
It'll either freak you out or make you die laughing.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay.